I just can't take no pleasure in killing. Just some things you gotta do. Don't mean you have to like.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
You want to know what happens to an eyeball when it gets punctured? You got any idea how much blood jets out of a guy's neck when his throat's been slit?
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
What up, everyone? DJ Anubis here with you on the Metal Time Radio podcast with my ghoul brother from a ghoul mother, Mr. Tony the fucking Dead. We are the Ghouls of Midnight, and this is episode 42, where we sit down and alternate between picks for movies. This time around, it's my turn. 42. I'm kicking them out. And this one is Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for 2024. And before we dive in, let's go ahead and check out the trailer, because this is not a movie that too many people know, but I did do a trailer reaction a while back for this. So this is why it's kind of always wanted to watch it. Mm-hmm. So it showed up on Canopy, and I said, you know what? let's go give this a whirl, bring it on, and see how it goes. So, for those that haven't seen, let's check out the trailer for Cuckoo.
Mom, I really want to go home. It's really bad.
How was your journey?
Very pleasant, thank you.
Good.
Gretchen, come say hi.
What's up?
I'm your neighbor. Haven't heard about you.
Why would you have heard about me?
How would you like to come work for me at the resort?
This happens sometimes. You look like you don't belong here.
Why is there nobody working the reception after 10?
I want you to lock the doors and wait for me. I will come pick you up right now. If I were you, I wouldn't want to get hurt even more.
Why did you bring us here?
Your family belongs here.
That's a fucking weird way to put it.
You told the police that you were chased by a woman.
I think I'm crazy.
Nature is quite remarkable.
Oh, it feels so good.
We have to go. Some species need our help. I'm giving you the chance to be of great use in our quest for preservation. Consider yourself lucky.
And there you have it.
Yep.
Directed by Tillman Singer, stars Hunter Schafer, Jan Bloodhart, Martin Soxis, Jessica Henwick, and Dan Stevens. Your first impressions?
I didn't watch the trailer for this, so I went in blindly. So I didn't know what to expect. I just recently started watching Euphoria, and that's the only way I know the actress. I don't know anybody else in it, so it's kind of nice to see like not big names in the movie, you know. So
yeah, well, actually, the biggest name in here is probably Dan Stevens, this gentleman here, because I first saw him in 2017 in the remake of Beauty and the Beast with Emma Watson. He played the Beast, and then of course he showed up in Godzilla X Kong. He's like the crazy wildlife dude.
Oh, is that him?
That's him. And
I was like, he looks familiar, but I wasn't sure.
And then, like, I'm starting to really appreciate him as an actor because he can do a lot of different things. Like, he sounded German in this. But he was also in the horror film last year called Abigail, and I didn't even recognize him in that film. But I was like, wow, that's crazy. So he's pretty good actor. I mean, overall, the acting in this is actually top notch. I really liked everybody's role and what they were doing.
Yeah.
So it's a 2024 horror film starring Hunter Schafer, as we talked about. It follows a teenager who moves to the German Alps to live with her father, but becomes disturbed by strange occurrences as her father's boss, played by Stevens, embroils her family in a sinister plot. This movie is like kind of like all over the place at first. Like, it really takes you up because, like, at times I thought, oh, are we doing like the paranormal? Is this apparitions? What are we dealing with here?
Yeah.
I got the spooky hotel or resort that her parents are supposed to build a new one for Mr. Stevens' character.
Yeah.
And she just lost her mother, her biological mother. And so now she's down with her father and her stepmother, who then they also have like a younger daughter named Alma here, who's to the right. We also find out that Gretchen, played by Schafer, is in a band, but we get to hear very little of it as far as like just in terms of the music. So, soundtrack is really good throughout the movie. I do like the soundtrack a lot.
Yeah.
The plot is actually very interesting. So
A
yeah,
lot of atmospheric, like the music is very good for it, like the atmosphere.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, she's moved out there and she's not super happy. She's one of these, she's going through it's like a combination between rebellion and not dealing with her mother's passing very well. She doesn't really want to be in Germany with her parents during this. But she gets invited to help work at the resort by Steven's character, Eric Koenig. And for whatever, even though it's a small little town, basically real small, nobody works past 10 o'clock at night. So there's a point where she's got her bike and it's really not that far. She goes up the hill a little bit, but Koenig is telling her, well, I'll take you back home because it gets dark pretty early. And then, I don't want you out there. And she's kind of like, well, I don't know why. It's just a forest,
Yeah.
And it really we have that one scene where she's riding in the dark because she's like, fuck it, I'm just going to go home. And we see like the shadow at first behind her on the bike. And it's like, what the fuck? And then she looks around, this woman with sunglasses and like this coat on, and the hoodie is chasing her. And like, that's terrifying. That's like one of the better moments in this film in terms of like true scares or creepiness. But she starts to notice like people coming into the lobby and they're vomiting, mainly women vomiting, and then she meets another passer or tenant named Ed, who's passing through, and we also obviously find out that she's a lesbian. Basically, she's interested in girls. So she takes a liking to Ed, but again, all these strange occurrences are going on. How did you feel about how the plot was like unraveling as we're going along?
I didn't mind the plot. I mean, it kept my attention. It kept me guessing, which I like. Like you said, like, is this like all in her head? Because it does seem like they after a while they try to play it off like, oh, there was no woman, they didn't see anybody, and like making her sound like she's crazy. So it's like making you think, is she? So it keeps you guessing, but yeah, that shadow part with because you see her running, she saw her running, and she's just like whatever, and then like, because she has headphones on, she can't hear this thing screaming behind her, and it turns around, she's like that. I like that would freak me out. And then she's like, "Whoa!" She like pedaled to the metal, baby, and
that's the thing too.
That's crazy.
I was even when she was riding the bike and she had her headphones on. I was like, man, down there, you'll never hear a car coming. It'll hit you real fast.
I know. I thought that too. Like, as much as you want to have headphones on at night like that, I mean, you could see headlights behind you, but what if they don't have them on or something, Yeah, it's dangerous.
Or if they just come around a corner real fast, like they're speeding or something. It's like, fuck.
Typical teenager thing.
Yep. So obviously she's working at this place, and then that night that happens where the woman is chasing her, she ends up running to, it looks like a hospital or something, and she gets inside between the two doors, and she's got her butterfly knife that she carries, and she's bumped her head into the glass because she's trying to rush to get in to get away from this woman. So the woman's kind of like sitting outside the first pair of doors, kind of looking at her. And so it's just a real creepy vibe. We have no idea who this woman is, what she's doing, why she's chasing her. And even though she's wearing the sunglasses, there's like these red glowing eyes. So it's like, again, you think paranormal. It's like very weird.
Yeah.
The local police think it's a prank. They're kind of like dopes, but we find out they are tied to some of what's going on later.
Yeah.
Eventually we get to the point where even her sister has like this seizure where she just starts shaking and goes kind of nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And then when this is another moment where we learn that the headphones have actually protected her from the sound because she's listening to her music and playing her guitar. And then when she takes it off, she hears the vibration of the sound, which it does like this triple loop. Goes in reverse for, I don't know what purpose that is really. Maybe it's just a slow time. I don't know, but
Yeah.
Very interesting. And again, as we go on, we discover that through Koenig, because eventually he tells her in a sort of like fucked up way that, oh yeah, your dad sold your house that you wanted to go back to, that your mom died in or whatever. And so that really pisses off the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And but it leads us down like this really weird road, because we find out that Koenig has discovered this ancient species of, you can't really even call it a bird, but it's some sort of ancient creature that behaves like a cuckoo bird, where it will basically impregnate women with like slime or eggs, to which any male human or whatever impregnates the egg, which then would create their offspring.
Yeah.
And so cuckoo birds, if people don't know, will generally leave eggs next to other nests of eggs with, like, say, like a hawk or a different type of bird, where that other bird is responsible for basically upbringing that cuckoo bird. But in this case, the mother that's been kind of impregnating these women by attacking them eventually comes back looking for their offspring. And so it's very interesting, because both Gretchen's parents at one point went to their honeymoon at the same resort. After the fact, they had Alma, the kid, the young girl, that it turns out to be one of the offspring from this creature.
Yeah.
We did see very early in the film a clip where this couple was fighting, and this girl woke up in her bed shaking and also having like a seizure, and then running out of the house. So at first it's kind of like, is she autistic? Is she just trying to get away from abusive dad? Like, I thought that was like the dad killing the mother or something. It was like really weird.
Yeah.
But this girl takes off, and we discover a little bit later that that's another one of the offspring from this creature. How did you feel about discovering what was actually going on with the woman chasing everybody and the green slime?
Again, this is where I say I think we're going to have the same opinion. Like, I think there's a lot more questions than answers with this movie a little bit, but I get the gist of it. But it's kind of crazy, the whole thing with cuckoo birds, how they do that. It's kind of shitty. But like, this is an interesting take on it, that's for sure. Yeah, because I want to know what they looked like before. What did the ancient creature look like? Because obviously they bred into human DNA. So what did the original one look like? And where do they live? They're just in the woods. Where I want to see this girl, what she does besides chasing after women. But
yeah, and that's the thing too, because like, we never get any real answers about the father, because we find out that the stepmother, and this is something that I don't really understand of what's going on, but it seems like once the mother cuckoo comes back for their offspring, the females, the wives, the mothers, they end up getting sick and vomiting. So why is that? What is the reaction to that? It's a little bit weird. Like, and we don't know what that does long term. Like, do these hosts end up dying? Do they end up breeding some more? Like, I don't like it, because in some ways we looked at the parents and they almost looked like they were in their own kind of trance.
Yeah.
But we never really know that. We never get any real clarification if they are not. We know the mother is in some sort of way when she's in the vicinity of her daughter and the mother cuckoo, but we don't understand like why that's happening. Like, why is she getting ill? It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So that I wish we had a little bit of answers to as well. But yeah, so obviously the story starts unraveling where Koenig admits that he's been trying to rebreed these creatures in order to, because they were basically on extinction. So now it's a matter of trying to re-get them to back up to their population, but there's really no end game with that. And he's somehow managed to, I don't even say communicate, but he's managed to get their trust in a way that he can be in the same room. We know he's got his own headphones on because he doesn't want to take the chance of them pulling that shit on him. Because they're very strong, they're violent. Even though they kind of imply towards the end that that might not be the case with Alma, but I'm going to get into some of that later about that. But yeah, so and then we also have the detective. So this is another like third wheel here. The detective who lost his wife to the attack from the mother Cuckoo, because again, according to Koenig, this particular mother, her main objective is just to impregnate and breed as much as possible to build up her creatures again, like to get back up there to snuff. But this detective knows that this thing is going around killing people and hurting people and then throwing slime all over the place. I thought at first, and I read a little bit on it, but I thought at first they were taking the slime from their mouth. I think they're taking it from their vagina.
Yeah, I think so. They don't show
yeah,
it.
so that was interesting. But this detective, of course, is trying to help Gretchen, but at the same time, he's got like a lot of vengeance on himself because he lost his wife. So he knows that these are creatures of some sort. He just doesn't know really what they are until later.
Yeah.
So his goal, of course, is just to eradicate them all, which makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about how it all played out in the end, like in terms of just the exposing Koenig and the creatures and what their goal was?
Well, the whole exposure of the creatures and the explanation behind it and everything, I get it, but I want more. Like we said, I just want to know more things. And he was shady since the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody kind of was, like, except for her and the daughter. I mean, except for the two daughters. But he's shady. The second he walked up to that window without knocking on it, I thought, this guy's fucking weird. And then even this chick, I thought something was up with her, but I was wrong. But yeah, like I said, he was just shady from the beginning. And then when he made that phone call, like, I'll be right there to pick you up, it sounded like he was very concerned for her. So I'm like, okay, maybe there's something going on they don't want to talk about, and he wants to protect her because she's not involved and shit. And then it kind of like just does like a 180 toward the end and that. And the way things are like, oh, that happens a lot around here. And the one thing I don't understand is, like, what happened to her parents? They just left. Like, I thought something would happen with the father, because the father seems shady as shit too.
Right.
And it's like, he's like, seems like he likes the new daughter more than his other one, and so that's where her rage comes. I don't know. It's left me a lot more questions. Again,
Yes.
if they made a sequel, I hope they show the flock of them or something. Like these fucking weird people in the woods. Like, I mean, because this is another reason I do not want to go to a place where I don't know anything. Like, this is like Hostel or fucking Human Centipede. I would end up in that kind of shit. Or a fucking cuckoo bird lady running around. That'd be me.
So obviously there's gonna be some spoilers here, but this movie's been out for about a year. But either way, Gretchen, eventually it's like a tug of war now. You've got Koenig trying to basically get rid of Gretchen because he wants to protect this species at all costs. So he's trying to gain control of Alma, the young girl, the sister, so that the mother can reunite with her and get her offspring. But
yeah,
there does come a point where, as the mother Cuckoo is trying to kill Gretchen or impregnate her or whatever it's trying to do, she ends up killing it and stabbing it in the throat with her butterfly knife, and that's it.
Yeah.
So now Koenig is pissed off. Like, he's like, he didn't realize that she was able to kill the mother, and so now he's desperate to get Alma because that's really the last one. Because the other one that we talked about earlier, the detective shot her and killed that one.
Yeah.
So we don't really know how many there are out there altogether, but at the same time, the desperation of Koenig tells us that the numbers are, again, very low because And I guess in some ways they kind of serve a different purpose. I don't know how much truth is that, because again, it's not really explained about the history of this creature.
Yeah.
But he kind of led to believe that the mother cuckoo was the one that was going to do all the breeding. But what other purpose was Alma and this other one going to do? Because he was training the other spawn to kill or impregnate Gretchen at one point before he was killed by the detective. So I don't know what exactly his end game was. Either way, it turns out, and this will be some of my criticism once I start getting into it, is Gretchen realizes that she still loves her little sister despite what she is. She knows that her sister is one of these creatures.
Yeah.
And she feels that if she takes Alma away from this resort and this situation, that she won't have to do these things that she's talking about. So we get to see Alma perform this like screech that allows them to, that does the rewind in time and shit. So that allows them to get out of that situation because they're right in the crosshairs of both the detective and Koenig. So Koenig and the detective end up killing each other, just basically, even though we don't ever see any bodies. So that could be something down the road. Yeah. So now, and then again, you know, after we have this accident between Ed and Gretchen, when they first try to leave the resort, they hear the screech, and then that's when they crash the car and everything. So they couldn't get out. They were both, we didn't even know if Ed was still alive at that point, because that creature came up and body slammed her ass.
She just boom, threw her like fucking 30 feet. And I was like, well, she's dead. I thought she was dead from the accident, to be honest.
Yeah, and you know, the funny thing is, because if the cuckoo's main goal is to breed, well, why not breed with that one as well? Because it seemed like she was so fixated on Gretchen that she could have done both, really, technically. Of course, the detective shows up and interrupts everything, so maybe that was the plan. I don't know, but so Gretchen decides that she's going to protect Alma, and of course Alma returns the favor by, you know, covering her ears and then distracting the two guys from killing them. But did you have any problems with the film, and what were they?
Just like I said, like the unanswered shit, like why? One thing is, why did Alma get affected by the sounds when she was technically a new breed? Like it shouldn't have like affected her. And I don't understand. She's one of them. Why would it affect it? I don't know. Maybe they've because there's no really others, or like there's not two in one room. So I don't know. Maybe they can affect each other. But like I just thought that was weird. If like you're one of them, it shouldn't affect you. You know.
Yeah.
The time loop too.
Yeah.
Why?
The parents were also in the house at the time.
Yeah.
And yet they don't mention anything about the sound. Like, and so again, we have to wonder, are they in some sort of trance? Is the mother still tied to the cuckoo mother because of the impregnation? What exactly is the setup there? Like,
or does
because a lot of times, because Koenig says, Koenig says, you know, your parents were meant to be here.
Yeah.
So again, that tells me that they're in some kind of trance state that they can't not follow it. Like they have to be there. Like it's almost something in their mindset that tells them we have to be at this resort. Like, I don't know. It's never really elaborated. But my problem.
They have high regards for that doctor guy too. That how do you say his last name? Koenig.
Koenig. Yeah.
Koenig.
Yeah.
They have like these super high regards for him. So maybe they're just like starstruck as well. Like we have to listen to this guy, you know, or else he's not gonna want the building that we're gonna fix. I don't know. They do kind of seem like they're like in on it, but yet the mother doesn't seem to. At the time, at the end, like she doesn't seem to know. Like I'm sick. I don't know what's going on. And it's like, fuck, you know, poor Beth.
And that's the other thing too. Is like the screeching that the cuckoo does. Like we don't know if it is just directional or if it goes like distance, like how many people actually hear. Because at first I'm thinking, is this like some big horn somewhere that's putting out this, emitting this sound, and it's just affecting everybody?
Yeah.
But we never get any clarification on how strong their screech is either.
Yeah.
But like I said, it has great acting. The soundtrack is amazing. The plot is good. I really like the plot. It is interesting. My issues, however, is the change in direction at the end. Because I obviously this is an ancient creature that's been forcing itself, whether through Koenig or by its own means, to lay eggs inside these women. So that's sort of like rape in a way. Like it's doing things that that the human hosts are not given permission for.
Oh yeah.
So obviously they call it like an invasive parasitic species in sense of how it lays its eggs.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like, since Gretchen took over for Alma and protected her, she's now said to herself, like, she thinks she can change Alma to something that she's not.
Yeah.
And I only bring this up because this little article here, and towards the end, basically, it says, amid unsettling sound design and plotting that is in every sense loopy, questions are raised about nature and nurture, and about human bonds that go beyond the conventional norms of genetics and biology. So that review obviously is just from somebody who's watching it, but we have now, for people that don't understand where I'm going to come on with this, they might take it the wrong way. Don't, because it's just my observation about what's going on here. This movie, the ending, we have a trans woman playing the lead. If you did not know, she is trans. She did an amazing job. I liked her. This is the first time I've ever seen her. She was great. So that doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
The fact that they're doing what they're doing at the end of this film, which is definitely pandering to the cause of, like, I think the director did this on purpose because of the trans actress, as well as what the story is going to be about protecting. And you read that little blurb from the article.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't hurt the film. The film is still very good. However, what I will point to and why it hurts the plot is because they've gone out of their way to set this up to where we have this other species. And if we're going to parallel it to trans people or whatever, gay people, or whatever you want to do, you've made this creature very destructive. It also hurts people when it does these things in order to protect its species. It's hurting and raping women. That's sort of what it's doing.
Yeah.
Not indirectly, because it can't fertilize it without the male, but it's violating the woman's space.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So now what we have is Gretchen is protecting her sister because out of love, and she feels like, well, my sister's different. I'm different, even though she's not considered trans in this film. She's considered a woman. But the idea behind it all and what the director's trying to set up is to show the world, show us viewers, that if you're different, it doesn't mean you should be shunned or hurt or anything like that, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But again, the plot does not allow us to feel sympathy for these creatures because of what they can do. We don't even know if Alma will grow up and not just become another breeder, so to speak. So
yeah,
Gretchen is in some ways playing with fire. We just don't know enough about this creature to know what it could do in the long game. Because at least in this encampment, it's kind of secluded. And, Koenig mentions once that the mother went outside the boundaries, which was a no-no. How he was able to control it, no one knows.
Flute, apparently.
Yeah, well, yes, exactly. But I think that was also the call. I don't know if it could control him per se, but it definitely called him. And maybe you're right. Maybe he found a way to communicate through that. Maybe that's what that is.
Yeah.
I mean, he clearly cared about the species to try to protect it because, he even when the other one that we saw at the very beginning came to work on Gretchen, he treated it like a child. He was, pandering it to it, just telling it,
yeah,
you'll be okay. I'm protecting you, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also using it for nefarious purposes for himself. So that's kind of a bullshit thing there with that.
Yeah, he's like a mad scientist in a way.
Right. So I kind of feel like the narrative that both the director and the story are combating each other. They're just not meshing with acceptance. Like, yeah, you can accept that Alma's a different creature trying to survive, but who's to say 20 years from now, she says, you know what, I need more of my species. I need to feel like I'm at home with them.
Yeah.
She could very well attack Gretchen and not even know it. So like, it's very complicated in terms of accepting that ending the way it was and how the setup was for these creatures.
Yeah.
How did you feel about all that? Or did you even pick up on it?
I didn't really think of the whole like what you said with, you know, because she's trans and the other one's a lesbian. I think I totally get why she wanted to save her sister, because when the part where it shows right at the beginning with the tape recorder, that's that's a spoiler in the very, very second of the movie, first second. But when she's calling her mom throughout the movie, you're expecting the mom's just like not calling back or something. Like, you don't know she's dead at the time. So like, I feel like when she heard the message back, because her sister, she can't talk either. That's another thing. She uses her phone to talk or sign language. And when she left a message calling Gretchen's mom, saying like, I hear my sister in the room, it's like I could see the humanity, you know. And so I think Gretchen's just wants to hold on to that, and hopefully with me, because she likes me, you know, like kind of like, oh, the dog trusts me but not him kind of thing. I think maybe Alma has it in her head, like, I think, you know, because Alma's different, I think we can, like, she's going to try and keep her safe. But I think, yeah, what you're saying is when she gets older, I think she's going to, like, it's kind of like, you know, it's like, I don't know, it's a stupid analogy, but like, you get Clark Kent, wow, dyslexic, Clark Kent landing, and imagine having to like tell that little boy, you got to be careful, you can't run around, because, you know, it's the same thing with her. She could hurt people, you know. Certain things she won't be able to do. Is like, everybody will just think she's mute, but they won't think she's a fucking bird, you know. But so I could see a sequel with that, like putting her in like the real world and like having problems, and maybe eventually she'll have to go back, or make there's another
I mean,
community.
it probably would be a little bit different if they set it up a little bit more to where we understand that Koenig actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Not bride, but basically directed the way that the mother Cuckoo was going to behave. So maybe the Cuckoo mother wasn't really that aggressive in nature, but maybe he found a way to say, look, if your species is to survive, you're going to need to go do these things that aren't very pleasant to the humans. And
well,
so
I guess
maybe
it's
it's his
too.
influence that might have done that.
Yeah. Same thing with, like I said, with dogs, like maybe because he's a shitty owner and he's treating them like shit. That's why they're like that. Because
right.
You know,
exactly.
But
all right. Ghoul rating. What do you got?
Rating. Oh geez. I'm used to you going first. I don't know.
I know. That's why I always like going second, because if I go too high or too low, you're like, wow.
Well, I mean, I did want to watch this too. I had it on my list to watch before I even started watching Euphoria. That Hunter Schafer is a really good actress, especially in Euphoria. Totally look different, but yeah, I like that it kept you guessing.
I had to go back because I heard that just through rumor mills, obviously, that people want her to play Mystique in the next X-Men movie. That's how I kind of recognized her name.
I saw a picture of that. At the time, I didn't know who she was.
Yeah,
that's weird. All that, like, I'm destined to watch Hunter Schafer, apparently.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I liked that it kept me guessing all the way up to the end, pretty much. Again, there was a lot of the holes that we talked about, like why, with her not getting affected by it, and then you know, it just leaves a lot of mystery because there's not a lot of people in this. It's just a resort.
Right.
I didn't hate the movie at all, but it leaves a lot of questions and unanswered. You know, like it leaves me wanting more. Let's put that.
Right.
So I would say, and the acting's great. Let me say that. But I don't know. I was probably gonna say like 7.5. I think is good. You know,
I was going to give it a 7, so we're right
7.
there. Yep.
Yeah.
That's really I would actually be much higher if it wasn't so skimpy on some of the details, because those are
Yeah.
important, especially as we get to the end of it, because you do question why, like, even though you understand it, like you said, the human side of why she wants to protect her sister because of that bond with her mom. The reality is you have to think also you're fucking taking something out of its element that could destroy the world. Like it's that kind of like an issue, because no one outside of that little town even knows what these creatures are.
Yeah.
And that's why Koenig kept it so close and tight. He didn't want, until I guess he was ready or whatever his master plan was, to like unleash them into the world. But
yeah,
it's just a little bit skimpy on the details, and then you kind of question like, is Gretchen not thinking clearly by keeping her, even if she's doing the right thing human wise? It's like a bad decision. Like just not enough there for us to really make a determination of why that decision is made.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still a decent movie. I still recommend it to anybody to check out. It's great acting, top to bottom. Everybody is fabulous in this, even the smaller actors.
Maybe he has weird holes in it like this because he's planning a sequel to fill them.
Maybe.
I don't know, because this definitely could be a decent sequel. I could see things happening with it, and if they do, I just want more of the questions answered. You know?
Yeah.
That's all.
Or some sort of prequel, maybe, so we can actually see what these creatures looked like ahead of time and why they went extinct or dwindled down the way they were. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's because this doctor, he had, they're going to build another facility for me. How many other people that in these years have also built facilities? So I don't think that's the only place. I think there's probably one in like Sweden. What did he say? France is right over like the border. It's probably it's probably all over Europe. It probably was somewhere in America.
Yeah, their borders are pretty close over there. So
yeah,
and also the parents were brought over to rebuild a new resort. So who knows what that was going to be detailed? Like, is it going to be an upgraded lab sorts or whatever? We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it'd have to be a new staff, that's for sure.
yeah,
we're restaffing here. New employment, new management.
Right.
Oh man.
Well, coming up, you and I will be doing a trailer reaction to Predators: Killer of the Killers soon. So we'll be doing that probably shortly after we're done here, and then later on, I'll be getting together with Anthony Jordan as well as Kevin Lambert to do Cinematic Synergy, where we'll be reviewing 1997's Mimic, and then tomorrow, you and I will again get together for your pick, which is Peter Pan's Nightmare. Is that the correct title?
Neverland Nightmare. Yeah.
Neverland Nightmare.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen that yet. I haven't watched it yet, so I'll do that either tonight or tomorrow before I dive into that. But then Friday, you'll be joining me for Vintage Cult Cinema, and we'll be doing Hackers from 1995, which I'm excited to rewatch that. I've always loved that film.
Yeah.
And then later in the afternoon, I will be getting together with Daniel Miller, the professor, to do another Kaiju Spotlight for Varan. And that's pretty much what I got slotted for this week. Do you have anything else you're doing this week, or is that it?
No, that's it. I don't have anything planned.
That's it.
Got a lot of. I have everything written down on the calendar, but it's a lot of. Now it's T-ball season, so luckily those are like at night. Like tonight, there's a scrimmage, so I have to go to that. But yeah, everything. It's I'm working around everything, but when I don't know, whenever things get calmed down again, I don't like to say I'm going to do this because I won't do it. Like my podcast, I didn't even do it. I've started recording one, but I realized that it was on mute or something. So
yeah.
But
all right,
I want to do things, so we'll see. Just stay subscribed. Subscribe to both of us, and you'll know this stuff. Hit the notification
and give us your
bell.
comments. Have you seen this film? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah,
let us know. We like people's feedback.
Did the holes drive you cuckoo?
Yeah, right. All right, everyone. We'll see you next time on the Meltdown Radio podcast. We are the Ghouls of Midnight, and we'll see you later.
Satan.